Hello everyone! Today I'm going to give a short summary about the different reports. By the way, for the midterm, this will be our midterm exam coverage. Piaget's cognitive development, Vygotsky's sociocultural theory, information processing theory, classical conditioning, connectionism, operant conditioning, and neurobehaviorism. Sorry, typo lang yan siya. 40 items only, and then 2 points each. Bali, a total of 80 points. And, by the way guys, ang exam ngayon is medyo mahirap kasi more on higher order thinking siya. Hindi po siya memorization, more on application sa sa knowledge. So, focus po kayo kay John Piaget kasi maraming lumabas kay John Piaget, and then kay Ivan Pavlov, classical conditioning, and then operant conditioning, yon, and Vygotsky. Sa kanilang mga topics, marami pong lumabas. Okay, proceed na tayo. Our first topic will be Piaget's cognitive development. Basic cognitive concept, schema, of course, it's the prior knowledge, and then assimilation means you fit your new experience into existing created schema. Ano yung basic example niyan? Yung bata, ang perception niya sa aso is merong 4 legs. So, pag nakakita siya ng kambing, feeling niya aso pa rin yun. Pero kapag sinabihan mo siya na, hindi yan siya aso, kundi yan ay ibang uri naman ng hayop. That's a kambing. So, yun. Paano siya mag-fit ng new schema sa existing schema niya? That's assimilation. And then, kapag accommodation naman, gagawa talaga siya ng panibagong schema. Then, or creating new schema. Then, equilibration means merong balance sa kanilang dalawa. Stages of cognitive development. First is the sensory motor. Sensory motor stage, birth to 2 years old. Dito is nag-focus sa senses and then muscle movements ng bata. And parents should provide rich and stimulating environment na dapat marami siyang toys para mamanipulate niya yung mga toys, and through that mai-enhance yung sa fine motor skills niya and gross motor skills. That's the sensory motor. And under dyan is the object permanence. Yung an ability attained in this stage where he knows that an object still exists even when out of sight. Like, for example, nasanay yung bata na pag sinabi mo, B, saan ang moon? So, ituturo niya yung doon sa sky kasi nasasanay siya na yung moon is andoon sa taas. Even if walang moon doon, tuturo pa rin siya na dyan. Kasi nga, feeling niya, andun yung moon, even if wala siya. Kahit missing yung object, feeling niya andun pa rin. That's object permanence kasi nakasanayan niya. Next is a pre-operational stage, 2 to 7 years old. So, mas marami ito sila dito. It begins to use language, and then egocentric thinking, and the child had a difficulty seeing different point of views. So, feeling niya siya lang yung tama. Dito yan siya na stage, pre-operational stage. And then, classified object by single features only. Hindi siya makaka-differentiate ng iba-ibang features, single lang yung feature niya. First is the symbolic function. Ano ba itong symbolic function? It's like a pretend play. Yung parang princess, ganon. Symbolic function yan siya. Next is egocentrism. So, yung self-centeredness ng bata, yung point of view niya lang yung tinitignan niya. Yun, kaya nag-iiyak sila, kadalasan nagtatantrums kasi nga egocentric pa sila. Dito pa sila na stage, 2 to 7 years old, pre-operational. Usually, dito yan siya sa preschool age. And then, centration is the tendency of the child to only focus on one thing. Okay? Even and exclude other aspects. For example, pinapili mo yung bata 5 peso coin versus 5 tagpipiso. So, ano ba yung pipiliin niya doon? It's yung 5 yung tag 1 pesos. Kasi, feeling niya mas marami yon kaysa even though same lang naman sila ng value ng 5 pesos na buo. So, yon. Dyan yung centration. Next is lack of conservation. Is the inability to realize that some things remain unchanged despite looking different. For example, is meron kang dalawang glass, yung thin, yung pahaba, at saka yung mataba. So, paglagyan mo sila ng liquid, same quantity of liquid, ano yung pipiliin ng bata? Siyempre, yung mataas na glass. Kasi bakit? Feeling niya mas marami yung laman doon, even though same lang naman. So, that's lack of conservation. Next is irreversibility, is hindi niya ma-reverse yung thinking niya. Pag sabihin mo, 1 plus 2, nagsagot siya ng 3, so, pag paliktarin mo yan, 2 plus 1, hindi niya na yan masasagot. Kasi feeling niya, iba na naman yun na question sa kanya. That's irreversibility. Next is animism. I-attribute na yung human characteristic sa mga object. For example is, yung sun, di ba, pag nagdo-drawing yung bata, napansin nyo na lalagyan niya yan ng mata at saka smiley face. Kasi nga, dito sila na stage. Animism ang tawag dyan. Okay. Next tayo. Concrete operational stage. Ang concrete operational stage is nasa 7 to 11 years old. By the way, guys, I forgot kanina, please take note, okay? Please take note kasi merong mga information na sinasabi ko na hindi siya na-mention sa reports. Okay? So, take note talaga. Again, take note. Maglabas ng ballpen at saka papel dyan. Mag-take note kayo, okay? Next. Concrete operational stage. First, in this stage, the ability of the child to think logically, okay, meron logically na, but only in terms of concrete objects. Again, makathink na sila logically, pero sa concrete objects pa lang, dapat nakarelate siya sa concrete objects. And by the way, dito na stage is the elementary school years. Okay? Sa elementary, dito yung concrete operational stage. First is decentering. It's the ability of the child to perceive the different features of object and situation. Kabaliktaran ito siya sa centration, doon sa pre-operational stage. Next is reversibility, the ability of the child to perceive the different features of objects and situations. So, kabaliktaran ng irreversibility. Next is conservation. Kabaliktaran ng lack of conservation, the ability to know that certain properties of objects like number, mass, volume, or area do not change even if there is a change in appearance. Next is serration. Ang serration is the ability to arrange things in a series based on one dimension such as weight, volume, size, and etc. So, yun. Mapansin niyo guys na doon sa pre-operational stage, inability. But dito sa concrete operational stage, ability na siya. So, kaya na ng bata. Next tayo is a formal operational. Thinking becomes more logical. They can now solve abstract problems that can hypothesize. So, first is hypothetical reasoning. Ability to come up with a different hypothesis about a problem and weight data to make judgment. Second is analogical reasoning, the ability to perceive the relationship, analogy, okay? Relationship in one instance and use that relationship to narrow down possible answers in similar problems. Next is deductive reasoning, is the ability to think logically by applying general to particular situation. So, yun lang. Again, review. First is sensory motor stage, and under that is the object permanence. Next is pre-operational. Under the pre-operational, symbolic function, egocentrism, centration, lack of conservation, irreversibility, animism. Yan. Actually, meron pang iba, pero hindi ko na siya sinali. Number 3, concrete operational, decentering, reversibility, conservation, and serration. And lastly, formal operational, hypothetical reasoning, analogical reasoning, and deductive reasoning. So, yun lang. Let's go to Lev Vygotsky's sociocultural theory. Okay, very simple lang. Ang pinaka-main point sa sociocultural theory ni Vygotsky is itong term na ito, scaffolding. Assistance given by the teacher to assist the learners accomplishing a task. Okay? So, meron tayong tinatawag the zone of proximal development. Meron yan siyang figure. So, the actual level is yung alone yung bata na ginagawa niya yon. And the potential level is yung performance ng bata with assistance ng more knowledgeable others or MKO. So, the difference between the actual and potential level is called zone of proximal development. Balik tayo sa scaffolding. Example is yung pag magsintas yung bata ng kanya ng shoelace niya. 'Di ba? Kapag siya lang hindi niya alam paano. That's the actual level. Pero kapag dito na papasok yung potential level niya, kapag tinulungan na ng more knowledgeable others like the parents, teachers, and etc. yung bata. So kapag tinulungan niya na, yun na yung potential level niya. Okay? Ang tawag doon sa tulong na binigay is the scaffolding. Okay. Yun lang sa kay Lev Vygotsky. Let's go to Connectionism by Edward Lee Thorndike. Okay. First is the law of effect. Law of effect is the responses accompanied by satisfaction strengthen the connection. Response accompanied by discomfort weakens the connection. So, yung stimulus and response yan dito sa law of effect. Next is law of exercise. Pag pinag-ulit-ulit mo daw, mas nare-remember mo. Okay? Pag pinag-ulit-ulit mo itong pinanood na video na ito, mas mariretain niya siya sa utak mo. Yan lang po yung law of exercise. Next is law of readiness. So, ito dito, hindi daw makaka-learn yung student or yung bata if hindi pa siya emotionally, physically, mentally ready. So, kailangan yung topics mo is align siya doon sa level of thinking niya. That's law of readiness. Isa din sa example ng law of readiness is yung motivation. Bakit ba? Saan ba nakuha yung concept na kailangan natin magbigay ng motivation before mag-proceed sa ating klase? So, dito yan siya sa law of readiness. Next is law of freedom. And then law of intensity, law of recency, and law of primacy. So, I won't dwell on that anymore kasi ano na yan siya, self-explanatory yung mga meaning niya. Let's go to classical conditioning by Ivan Pavlov. So, yung ginamit na animal ni Ivan Pavlov is yung dog. Very common. Very known ito si Ivan Pavlov sa kanyang experiment na classical conditioning. So, let's define first what is unconditioned stimulus. So, ang unconditioned stimulus or US, yan, abbreviation, meron yan siyang abbreviation. In Ivan Pavlov's experiment, the unconditioned stimulus was the food. Yung food na binigay niya. Okay, dito tayo sa illustration. Ayan, para mas maintindihan natin. Okay, before conditioning, si Pavlov, nagbigay siya ng meat sa aso niya. Of course, ginafeed niya yung aso niya ng meat. So, yung meat dito, yan yung unconditioned stimulus. Okay? Unconditioned stimulus siya kasi no matter what, yung meat, nagproproduce talaga yan ng salivation sa dog. Kagaya lang yan ng mangga. Ang mangga is unconditioned stimulus yan siya. Kasi 'di ba pag makakita ka ng mangga, yung dito mo magsasalivate ka. And hindi mo siya mapipigilan. So, yon, unconditioned stimulus. Hindi siya kinonditioned. Ang response ng dog is salivation. Yung salivation, ang tawag dyan is unconditioned response. Okay? Unconditioned response. This is before conditioning. Now, still before conditioning, the bell is a neutral stimulus. Bakit siya neutral? Kasi kapag i-ring mo yung bell, oh, okay, unyag nag-ring ang bell, unsa di ay, ana ang dog. 'Di ba? So, walang reaction yung dog kapag nire-ring yung bell. So, yung bell dito sa before conditioning is still a neutral stimulus. Now, yung wala siyang salivation, 'di ba? So, yon, no response. Now, during conditioning, yung bell every time na bell siya muna. Kling, kling, kling. And then, lagyan niya ng food. So, yung response ng dog, of course, mag-salivate siya. That's still unconditioned response. Okay? Hanggang sa pinaulit-ulit yun siyang ginawa ni Pavlov until na, after conditioning na, okay? Ang bell na lang, even if bell na lang yung ipapatunog, meron ng salivation na naganap sa dog. Kasi nga, na-condition siya nga, kapag may bell, merong pagkain. So, yun. Ang tawag na dito sa bell is conditioned stimulus. Okay? Got it? So, yun lang po ang concepts dito sa classical conditioning. Meron tayong key process in classical conditioning. First is acquisition. It's the overall process during which the organism learns to associate the two events or the two object like the meat and the bell. That's acquisition. Next is extinction. Kapag naman napansin ng dog na wala man talagang meat after ng kuan ng bell. So yun, ma-extinct, pwedeng ma-extinct, mawala yung effect doon sa bell. Okay? Maging neutral stimulus na naman siya. Next is stimulus generalization. It is known as the stimulus generalization, which is the tendency for another stimulus to produce a response that is similar to the conditioned stimulus. So, for example, bell ng library, yung ginamit, at saka yung sorbetes na bell. So, even if saan dyan sa dalawa yung papatunog, yung aso is magsasalivate pa rin. So, yun, ma-incorporate niya na lahat ng bell. Kahit anong bell na marinig niya, magsasalivate siya. That's stimulus generalization. Ang stimulus discrimination naman, na bright na ang iro ni Ivan Pavlov diri guys. Kabalo na siya mag-differentiate kung asa jud ang bell na merong meat. Yun. And then, di ba meron tayong extinction? So, meron din tayong tinatawag na spontaneous recovery. Pwede pa siyang mabalik, basta ibalik mo lang yung conditioned stimulus, yung, unconditioned stimulus, yung meat. Pag yung meat, di ba na hindi, wala nang reaction siya sa bell, kasi nga, hindi mo na siya ini-incorporatean ng meat. Kapag ibalik mo naman, merong magaganap na spontaneous recovery. So, yun, pwede siyang bumalik. Ayun lang. Next tayo, operant conditioning by B.F. Skinner. Okay, guys, ang concept lang dyan diri sa kay B.F. Skinner is reinforcement. Okay? Kapag conditioning, kay Ivan Pavlov. Kapag reinforcement, kay B.F. Skinner. Okay? Reinforcement, you increase the desired behavior. You want to increase the desired behavior, that's reinforcement. But, if you want to decrease that behavior, then that's punishment. Okay? It's positive when you are adding something, and it's negative if there is a removal of something. Okay? Next. Para mas padali, tingnan natin yung figure. Okay, positive reinforcement is that you add something and then the behavior happens more often. Kunwari is may presentation kayo. And then, kapag kayo ang first day sa presentation ninyo, exempted kayo sa, not exempted, but you will receive flat 1 na grade. So, yun. Bibigyan kayo ng flat 1. So, kapag kayo yung first place sa performance task nyo. So, yun. Meron kang dinagdag, meron kang binigay, and more likely, ulit-ulitin nila yung magandang performance na nasimulan nila. So, that's positive reinforcement. Next is negative reinforcement. Meron kang tatanggalin, subtract or take away something. Okay, performance task pa rin. Kanina, binigyan mo ng flat 1. Dito, exempted sa exam yung rewards mo sa kanila. So, kapag first place kayo sa performance nyo, wala na kayong exam. That's negative reinforcement. Kasi, good behavior reinforcement, gusto mong paulit-ulitin niya yung behavior na ginagawa niya, pero, meron, in exchange of that, meron kang tatanggalin sa task niya. O, diba, ang laking natanggal na burden sa kanya kapag hindi na siya magtitake ng exam niya. So, ganon. That's negative reinforcement. Next is positive punishment. Ang dito naman, hindi good behavior yung paulit-ulitin natin, kundi babawasan natin yung bad behavior na ginagawa niya. Positive punishment, magdadagdag ka ng something para hindi niya na ulitin yung bad behavior na ginagawa niya. One example of positive punishment is kapag nakakita ka ng kapag merong late sa klase, okay? Pag parati siyang late, nakikita mo na parati naman talaga itong late, so bigyan mo siya ng positive punishment. Anong gawin mo? If malate ka bukas, meron kang additional na assignment. So, yun, may binigyan, yung assignment na yon, that's positive, okay? Kasi you give something, and then yung punishment siya kasi nga negative yung behavior niya and you want to reduce it. Okay? Negative punishment is like i-confiscate mo talaga yung phone ng bata. Removal of something. That's negative punishment. Something na may gina-remove ka kasi bad yung behavior niya. Okay, yun na. Okay, let's proceed sa information processing theory. Ang proponent nito is si Richard Atkinson and Alright. Both of them are Richard Atkinson and Richard Schifrin. Okay? First is the encoding or takes in the information. Encode mo siya sa utak mo. Storage is you store the information inside, and then if you want to use it, you retrieve it. Retrieval. Stages of human memory. First is sensory memory. Sensory memory is, of course, senses. Magdaan talaga siya first sa senses natin. Like, yung hinawakan ka ng crush mo. So, yun. Ano ba yun? Sense of touch. So, yun. Holds exact copy of stimuli for a very short period of time. Okay? Kapag naman na-process mo siya, dyan na yan yung short-term memory. Short-term memory is the information as we consciously work on it. Short-term memory. 'Di ba? Imagine mo nga ma-remember mo pa ba ano yung ginawa mo bukas? Like detailed na ginawa mo bukas. So, try to remember if ma-remember mo siya. Kasi kapag hindi, ibig sabihin hindi siya pumunta sa long-term memory mo. Yun namang significant events talaga, tatatak talaga yan siya sa utak mo, and it will magagawa yan siyang long-term memory, minutes to lifetime. Like for example is yung mga birthdays, graduation, and any significant events in your life, dyan yan siya mag-store sa long-term memory mo. Kapag naman not so significant, short-term memory. Mawawala din siya eventually. So, pero, kapag hindi mo siya always nire-remember, like yung mga significant events nung bata tayo, actually hindi na natin yan nare-remember lahat. Lalo na ako, I think, ang earliest, yung memory na maalala is grade 3 na. Hindi ko masyadong maalala yung baby pa, ganun. Meron kasing iba na even if 2 years old pa lang sila, yung event na yung naaalala nila. Okay? So, pwede yun siyang mawala ha, pero hindi ko na siya ni-explain dito. Okay, types of transfer, lateral transfer, vertical transfer. Kapag lateral transfer occurs when the individual is able to perform a new task about the same level. Yang, for example, is mag-solve ka ng math problem. Kapag nag-solve ka ng math problem sa notebook mo, kasi binigyan ka ng equation ng teacher mo, okay, nagawa mo siya. And then, another equation na naman sa board. Okay, so doon ka na naman nag-solve sa board. Again, same lang yung equation na ginamit mo. So, lateral transfer. Same level lang ng difficulty. So, madali lang siya. Next is a vertical transfer occurs when individual is able to learn more advanced or complex skills. Mas complex na dito sa vertical transfer. Like being able to add at the same time being able to multiply. Okay? Or di kaya being able to read and being able to write. Okay? They're not directly, they are related, pero hindi siya in the same level. So, that's vertical transfer. Next is specific transfer when specific skills, facts, or rules is applied to similar situation. Okay. Like, yung mga theories na nilo-learn natin ngayon, kailan ba yung specific transfer na magaganap niyan? Doon kapag nag-OJT ka na. So, doon mo na yun maa-apply. That's specific transfer. Kasi yung facts na learn mo, ia-apply mo siya. Kapag general transfer, applying principles previously learned to the similar situation. So, yun. Okay, meron pa pala. Purposive behaviorism or the neo-behaviorism. Ang proponent nito is si Edward Tolman. It's either behaviorism or either cognitivism. It bridged the gap between these two. Ibig sabihin, nasa middle siya. Okay, what is the key concepts? Learning is always purposive and goal-directed. And then, the cognitive maps in rats. Ano ba ito? Like, yung rats is nilagay siya sa maze and then, nag-find siya ng way kung paano siya makalabas. So, pero before siya nilagay doon, gi-starve muna siya. Ano yung urge? Okay? Dito yan siya sa number 4, concept of intervening variable. Yung intervening variable doon is yung hunger niya. Kaya gusto niyang makalabas kasi nga naghahanap siya ng pagkain and then sa paglabas niya meron doong pakakainin siya. So, yun. And sa latent learning is yung nasuppress na learning mo. Hindi mo siya ginagamit. Marami siguro tayong ganito. So, yung latent learning is dito lang siya sa brain mo and ginagamit mo lang siya kapag kailangan. Okay? Natutulog na learning. Latent learning. Okay, so I think last one is reinforcement is not essential for learning. Dito sa purposive behaviorism ni Edward Tolman. That's Edward Tolman. Okay? Edward Tolman. Typo. Okay, I think that's the end of this short and very fast explanation about the different reports. I hope i-watch niyo yung reports, mga different reports if mayroon pa kayong time. Mahaba pa naman, no? 1 week yung examination natin, examination week, para masagutan nyo talaga na maayos yung exam. Guys, mahirap siya. Sana seryosohin nyo. Anyway, 40 items lang siya, pero more on critical thinking. Board exam questions. Diba, by the way, kumuha ako ng mga resources, ay ng mga questions doon sa pinasa nyo na assignment sa akin. Yung first 5 na nakapasa, doon ako kumuha. Okay, so yun lang. Thank you for listening. I hope you reach the end of the video.